Welcome back to Our Issues in Milwaukee. I'm your host, Andrea Williams. Our focus this morning has been on autism. April is National Autism Awareness Month, and my next guests both work extremely hard in spreading awareness and helping others when it comes to autism. Ronny Thompson is the founder and CEO of Athletes For Autism, and Tere Sackerson is a loving mother whose young son, Elliot, was diagnosed with Autism Spectrum disorder. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you both for being here. And Ronny, tell us more about the Athletes for Autism Foundation. Of course, you've been here before, but we don't want to assume everybody knows about it. So what is it that you do?
Well, what we do, we started about 4.5 years ago, and what we do, we train kids and adults who's autistic. And we take exercise and we take nutrition, and we say these kids can change social skills, or even the fact that some kids don't look you in the eye. Well, sometimes we get that look, and we get that smile at the end of the day. So at the end of the day, it becomes a passion of all of us who works hard to work with autism. So
that is awesome. And you have nutrition and fitness programs to help families who may be dealing with struggles in maintaining a healthy diet, and also you're providing that structured physical activity, not only for that individual who's been diagnosed, but something that the whole family can get involved in.
Yes, obesity problem with autism, and some of these families, they just feed their kids anything. So what we try to do, we try to teach not only the kids, but it's the parents. The parents is the one that has to do the job. The kids doesn't know. So we try to teach the parents through our program that not only exercise, but nutrition plays a major role with this also.
Yeah, and I know some parents who have children who have been diagnosed as autistic, and they can get really specific on what they will eat and what they won't eat. So that becomes a challenge for some parents in many cases. Yeah,
well, it starts with the parent. So I think if you just, treat the kid as a normal kid, just like everyone else, and you demand some of the things that's you're supposed to do with your kids, I think that it will happen.
Okay.
So.
All right, and that's where your organization comes in for parents that do see those things as challenges. You can help them through that.
Yes, we try to educate them to let them know that it's okay to, feed your kid, get them the right nutritions that they need, and to exercise. Some kids we've had never exercised before in their life and had a hard time coming into our class, but once they see other kids come in, they come in and you'll be surprised what they're capable of doing.
I love that. Now, Tere, I don't want to forget about you over there. You have a beautiful little boy who was diagnosed on the autism spectrum, so you know firsthand how important support and resources are for a family. If you would share with us a little bit of your story about how your child was diagnosed and some of the steps you had to take from there.
Absolutely. With Elliot, from the perspective of our family, my husband, my children, we really just saw him as our son and as our child. And I really cannot over-communicate the importance and the value of our healthcare system, and also the state government as well as our school district, to help Neil and I understand that Elliot had different needs and ultimately will have different challenges that he has to overcome. So with Elliot, as it was stated earlier, one of the key signals for him was speech. He is considered nonverbal, and at that point you have to decipher, go through testing to determine whether or not hearing is an impact. When hearing can be ruled out, that is when we ultimately found out that Elliot was on the spectrum. And again, for us, where I do a lot of reading, I feel that we're very blessed that we had engagement from our community to make us aware of different needs that our son had, because without them, we would think that it was normal that Elliot was flapping on the floor, or we would think that it was that he had two sisters that spoke for him for the reason of speech delay.
Yeah, and it's so important to have someone like you talk about your experiences, because it takes a minute sometimes when you talk about watching a child grow in those early stages to really figure out if there's something wrong or if this is just a part of their personality, whatever the case may be. So once you found out, obviously it's not an easy thing to digest, but you've been able to take the necessary steps, and you are helping others be able to look at you and say, I can do it too. So that is pretty awesome.
Well, thank you.
Yes. Speaking of, you wrote a blog for Metro Parent Milwaukee, and it received amazing feedback. What did you specifically talk about on that blog?
You know, for that blog, for me, it was more of a personal journey of a parent. And when you come to autism, as you've stated, it's not an easy thing to come to terms with. Having the healthcare or having people tell you that your son is on the spectrum. What I found interesting is that there are a lot of misconceptions in regards to the spectrum because it's not talked about. I had an overwhelming response of people from the community, from companies that we work with, to colleagues, to friends and family, that were nothing but overwhelming in their understanding and their compassion. The other area that I found interesting with the blog is how many people were willing to open up to me personally and how autism impacts their life, and someone who is related to them or affiliated to them in some fashion, which I would have never known because it's something that we don't talk about.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's why we are all here today to talk about this, because when you deal with situations like this, you need each other to say what worked for you, what didn't work. Here's an organization to help you with X, Y, or Z, whatever the case may be. It really is helpful when everybody communicates. So you two have something very interesting in common in the sense that you both work out really hard, and you've been training for Ironman, right?
Yes, yes.
And it's interesting to call a lady Ironman, but
and please do. It is an Ironman.
You're like, I earned it. Thank you
did.
very much. But so not only do you have that in common, but you also have this passion to help others who are dealing with autism. So talk about how you met and how you're able to come together and spread this awareness.
Well, we met, I've been seeing Tere for probably the last year and a half, 2 years, just running, and really been trying to catch up with her. She is really a true Ironman, and so just I'm intrigued with people in their workouts. So I was always intrigued in with her workout. She works out hard, never stops. So just happened to one day say something to her at the gym, and you know, I don't believe in coincidence, and found out she had a son who was autistic. So took it from there, started telling her about our organization, and just got excited by meeting another parent who's very open to treating her son as if he's her son, and feeding him like we eat, and exercising with him. So I was very intrigued by that, because even through our program, we have a very difficult time finding parents who would just understand how important that is. We've had some kids who eat nothing but chicken McNuggets and Oreo cookies for years and can't even sit on this couch. And not blaming parents by any means, but you know, when on top of an issue that you don't understand, no one understands, you have an issue that's being created now, and you got diabetes, you got so many things that comes with that. I've had one parent come to me and say she doesn't know if her kid's going to live past 25. Wow. And so you have these stories out here that's so sad that you have to be passionate about it, because this is something that's not going away, and that it's going to be in our lifetime after we're gone, because you know, no one has found a clear answer to slow this down. Yeah,
and Tere, you work in the financial world at a local PNC bank, and I say that to say that you are a busy mother of 3. So obviously there's a lot of time that's put into making sure your child, who is still very young, has everything he needs in order to continue on living a normal life. What advice do you have for parents out there who do have multiple children and work full time? How do you make sure you balance that time and show all your kids the same amount of attention?
You know, I think that it is a balancing act, being a working mom of 3, and with it there are 3 really core pieces to me that I live my life by. The first one is my family unit. Without my husband, I wouldn't be able to have the success that I have in my professional career, and to be able to do the fitness and to maintain wellness as a part of my life. The second one is it is really critical for my employer to understand that I have to have work-life balance. And with that, PNC was actually just recently in the media for being one of the top 50 employers within the United States for women executives.
I love it.
And so it's critical to my success of my family, and it's critical for me to provide to them. And then the third component of it is with moms, with dads, with people who have busy schedules, you sometimes forget to take time for yourself. And for me, even if if it's only 10 minutes a day for exercise, wellness, some type of fitness, when you look at the course of 7 days, that's 70 minutes of exercise that you can have. So again, just starting small will make a big result, and having those behaviors are going to help your children, very similar to Elliot or my children who aren't on the spectrum, understand the importance of wellness and nutrition.
Absolutely. And before we run out of time, there are some upcoming events that our viewers at home can actually take part in. Ronny, you've done this for several years now. Light It Up Blue at the Pfister. That's happening April 9th. Tell us about that.
Yes, what we have, and what we do is we bring in entertainment, and entertainment is kids who's on the spectrum.
I love it.
So Eric Luck this year would be the entertainment. He's coming to play the piano and sing. And this kid is not verbal, but he sings. So
amazing.
We bring him in. We bring in a guy that does poetry, who will be doing poetry that night. And then on April 22nd, we're having Oyster Fest.
Yes.
So it's an oyster eating contest at the Milwaukee Public Market every year that they sponsor that for us. And so last year it was someone ate 42 oysters. And
my stomach hurts, sorry.
So, these are the things that we're doing, and we're bringing TI here in August. We're having a big event because for whatever reason, Autism Month comes up and we all talk about it. But this is something that goes on throughout the year.
That's right.
So I'm a big advocate and a big voice now to say it's not going to end just in April. I'm going to be really using my voice as much as I can throughout the year to make sure people are aware that autism exists.
Absolutely. Thank you for all that you do. And your website is Athletes For Autism Foundation.org, and that's where people can go and find out how they can become a member.
Yes.
And also get the details on those events that you spoke of. So continued success with everything that you're doing.
Thank you.
And Tere, I just want to say thank you again for sharing your story and helping so many people out there who are in need of someone who understands what it may be that they're going through. So you have a Facebook page that you kind of communicate with people on?
I do. It's really meant for my friends and my family, but again, I share experiences, and I do try to separate them out where I share experiences of who I am as a mother going through this, and then all of the achievements that Elliot does, because again, the label does not define who my son is, and they're capable of everything.
Absolutely. Thank you both for coming by. Ronny Thompson is the founder and CEO of Athletes For Autism, and Tere Sackerson is the mother of an adorable 4-year-old who has been so kind to share her journey with us today. For more information on the Athletes For Autism Foundation, you can log on to athletesforautismfoundation.org, and you can also get details on the Light It Up Blue event at the Pfister on April 9th and the Oyster Fest at St. Paul Seafood on April 22nd. That's going to do it for today's show. I'm your host, Andrea Williams. As always, I thank you for watching, and I hope you join us again next week as we take another look at our issues in Milwaukee. Have a great day.